H-Town, what it do? My name is Nick Stevenson, the president of Houston Sports.
And I'm Scara. I'm the owner-creator of Bad Teacher Tales.
And the newest Houston Texans fan.
Yeah. I mean, today was rough, but...
You know what I think happened,
there.
Scara? I think the Texans were thinking about you today. I think they said, Scara's new to this. Let's go ahead and get that really disappointing win. Let's get it out of the way. First game of the season, or with disappointing loss, excuse me. Disappointing loss.
Disappointing loss.
Let's get that out of the system. First game. And it was tough, man. The Houston Texans go down by a score of 14-9. I am so curious to ask you, as someone who we've established was kind of a casual before, your first time watching the game, analyzing it a little bit more, what do you think went wrong, just based on what you know about the game and what you've studied so far?
Well, okay. Honestly, I think that Stroud got into his head in the late second quarter, I think. I could see it on his face. I could see the change. And it just started going down, I think. Because before that, both I thought the offense and defense were doing pretty awesome job, as far as I know.
Yeah,
I
no, I
could
don't
definitely see why he is one of the best in the league.
Yeah, for sure. They were moving the ball. They were getting within field goal range. What you're going to come to notice as you're watching these games is that sometimes, and this is a perfect example, if you don't score touchdowns, eventually it's going to come back to bite you in the butt. And the Texans scored a lot of field goals, which is, getting points is good, but you want to get the big points. When you look at the statistics in this game, there were a lot of positives, but at the end of the day, you didn't score touchdowns. I think it is so observant of you, somebody who doesn't even know what CJ Stroud's normal demeanor is. Yeah, he was frustrated. And the reason he was frustrated is because there were defenders in his face the entire game. We talked about this, you and I, both in our practice and in episode number 1. The spotlight was going to be on this offensive line. Were they going to be able to give him time? What did you think about the offensive line's performance?
So like I said, I feel like they were making progress. Of course, it would have been nice to see more, but I saw a lot more completed throws and like making movement, like you said, towards the beginning until Stroud got into his head. But I feel like a couple moments, man, there was a lot of tripping. They I don't know if they couldn't walk on that grass, let alone play.
Yeah, there was something going on with the field. No, I said that during our live stream too.
Yeah,
there was a lot of slipping.
He stumbled twice, once on his own feet and once on somebody else's, I think. At least twice that I saw. Had to take a couple breaks for children and stuff, but I noticed. Yeah,
it just, to me, the offense didn't look organized. It looked like it just didn't. I said this during our live stream. Like the Rams looked like an NFL offense. They didn't score a lot of points. The Texans defense played very well in this game. I don't think we can chalk this loss up to the defense. The offense just wasn't good. And I think I told you this before, the offense wasn't good last year. And so they pretty much replaced the entire offensive line. They fired the offensive coach. They hired a new offensive coach.
I gotta comment on that real quick. Is that the man with the long red sleeve shirt?
Yes, I believe Nick Caley. I believe he had a short haircut, looked kind of young.
No haircut. It was like he's a black man that's bald.
That is D'Amico Ryans. That is the head coach.
Okay. Gotta say, I did not hate when they put him on the screen.
D'Amico Ryans is a former player. He used to play linebacker for this team.
Okay.
That is the head coach. He is more of a defensive-minded coach, which is why, fans and most pundits understood in order for him to be successful, he's going to have a really good offensive coordinator. And let me just say, Nick Caley, as highly regarded as he was among coaching circles, I had a problem with the fact that he's never coached an offense. He's never been an offensive coordinator before. He's never called plays for an NFL team before. And that's exactly what the Texans did with their last offensive coordinator. It was a brand new guy who had never done any of this. So I was hoping this time around, hey, why don't I get a guy with experience who's done this before, and then maybe you'll have a better result. So I don't think I can't. It's been one game. I can't say Nick Caley's terrible. I will say the chat on the live stream was eating him alive. Like
Oof.
everybody was really mad.
But at least he's
Basically,
pretty.
yeah. I mean, he's a handsome guy. Yeah, and if listen. I think later we're supposed to. You're going to tell me who you think was the best bum on the field. Listen, in a loss like this, you got to find something, some silver lining, right?
Right.
Most of the time, it was not pretty. So
I
I
mean, it
think
was really fun the first quarter and then part of the second quarter.
yeah, 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 for sure. I mean, the defense played really well.
Yes, I
We
did
could
notice
go
that. Now, I didn't I do I will say I didn't know that there was no organization to the offense, but I guess that's I really wasn't looking at them as a whole and organization.
mhm,
I was just I gotta
of
focus on
course.
one thing at a time to start, and then I'll build.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, so I thought you were here's one thing that you said you felt like the offensive line was doing well. Um, I think CJ Stroud was making enough plays and early to make up for the offensive line because I felt like even when he did complete passes, there was somebody in his face the whole time.
Yeah,
And there was a couple of injuries on the offensive line. The offensive line, honestly, Scara, we're going to be talking about this all season, so just get used to it
okay.
because if they can't get it together, this is not going to be a fun season to watch. And I
Yeah.
hate to say that, but that is the key to this entire thing. Uh, now we're going to be. You already said you were going to be an optimist. You're going to pick the Texans to win every game, and I'm going to be an optimist. Keep in mind, Joe Mixon was not there. Christian Kirk was not there. So those are two really big offensive weapons. Um,
And,
but I find
it was a low scoring game, right? We
yeah,
talked about how, and maybe I don't know, but 9 to 14 seems pretty close in that that's not a huge span of
yeah,
points missed, right? So they were
of
pretty
course.
equally matched at in the end.
Can I don't disagree with you, and I think that's a very good observation as well. Um, we have to talk about Dare Ogunbowale's fumble in the fourth quarter as the Texans were driving for possibly a game-winning drive. That play was huge. Um,
Mhm.
and honestly, I can't blame Dari for it. That was just a really good play by the Rams. Sometimes the team just beats you. And the Texans did a lot of things bad today, but when the Rams had to make plays, they did, and the Texans didn't. And that's basically
That looked like
what it
a bit of
boils down
luck
to.
on the Rams' part though, too.
Yeah, because kind of like the Texans beating themselves rather than the Rams beating them. Is that what
Mhm.
you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
guess
don't
so.
disagree with you. Some bad calls from the refs. That's
May
another.
oh, do the Texans typically play dirty? Like, man, with the helmet holding and all the penalties, like, every 5 seconds, I'm like, "Okay, what do we do now?"
Okay, and this is the trick because as a fan, and more of a fan as you become, and remember, I told you we're going to do the scale of 1 to 10 thing. Um, more and more you're probably going to hate the calls against the Texans, but sometimes you have to chalk up the ones that are the Texans earned some flags today. The false starts, the holding, they earned those. There was a couple unsportsmanlike or not unsportsmanlike, it was the hits to the head. Some of the tackles, like I'm like, man, this is football. Like, what's the guy supposed to do?
He
They
that
took
yeah, I actually wrote that down in my notes that, like,
go for it.
how did he get punished because he fell into his helmet? Like,
Right. What's he supposed to do? Right.
because
I'm
that
glad
really
you
was
noticed
what
that.
it looked like to me.
Yeah, and it happened a couple of times to Derek Stingley. I think Petrie got one. Yeah, it's that's today's NFL though. If you became an NFL fan 15 years ago, that would be they'd be playing highlights of that on TV like, "Man, what an amazing play." But now it's a different game and I'll tell you I don't know if you're familiar, but there was a lot of to do about concussion protocols and a lot of research was done on concussions and the NFL was
TBI
found out.
and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the NFL was basically busted for not giving their players the information they needed to
ooh.
understand the risk they were putting themselves through. Whole big to do. So the NFL from that point, with the CTE and everything, they decided we're going to try to protect the players, but unfortunately, it hurts the defensive guys more than the offensive, and you probably noticed that as well.
Well, I don't hate that, and I even wrote down that, here, let me see how I phrase. How are they not more injured?
It's a very physical game,
Well,
and
like, just the way their body moved at some points or hit somebody else, I'm like, "Ow." I don't know if it's my age showing or what, I'm like, "That put me out for 5 weeks."
yeah, yeah,
And
for
he just got
sure,
back up.
and, there's always somebody on that injury list, like, by the time you get to the end of the season, almost no team is 100% healthy, but, they get paid a lot of money to do it, that's the risk
Yeah,
they take,
yeah.
um, but you just hope that you can have as much luck as possible with the injuries, and so far, honestly, the Texans have not had that luck. When we went over the injury report, um, right after our show, multiple offensive linemen on that injury report, Cam Robinson ended up playing, Ed Ingram was out, so that's another thing that's supposed to be one of your starting linemen. So you
Mhm.
had a bench guy in there and Blake Fisher. It looks like they took off Jake Andrews, the center, number 60. It looks like he got pulled off on a cart. So you got
Oh,
to
I
see a
must have
little bit
missed
of
that.
all of it. Yeah, you got to see a little bit of all of it, man. Hopefully he's going to be okay. The Texans will do a press conference tomorrow, during the day. So I don't know if you'll get to check that out, but we will make sure in our next show that we cover all of those things as we do a preview for the upcoming game against the Buccaneers. So while you got a chance to watch the game with your husband and your son, you told me, awesome.
Uh,
How did they enjoy the game?
well, my husband was back and forth. He had other work he had to take care of, but my son
Sure,
enjoyed
sure.
watching it for probably about the first half, and then, as a 9-year-old goes, he he got into a 9-year-old
Absolutely.
boy rhythm of
Absolutely.
throwing
So,
himself around the living
so
room.
I want to talk about that last drive where the Texans were trying to win the game and fumbled it away. Did you start to
Mhm.
feel a little bit of emotion there? Like anything
Oh,
you
yeah,
would
I
tell
mean,
me yet?
even in the m no, I really was even in the beginning, like, I was like, "Oh, this is fun," you know? And then I was like, "Oh, this is less fun." But yeah, but
Right?
I did yes, I was a little frustrated, and I even, I just remember there were several things that made me feel some things, so,
Is there anybody on
um
the Rams you don't like?
so I'm gonna say no only because I couldn't pay enough attention to them, I was paying attention to our
Okay.
guys.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so I did write down that at one point Stroud had the ball, and then the other team pulled him down, but apparently that wasn't allowed, but isn't that the point?
Right. So you're talking about the roughing the passer. So you can hit the quarterback, yes. And this is funny because I actually thought that that play was not a good call. I think it was a makeup call because when you hit the quarterback, you're not allowed to hit him at the knees or below. And that rule
Oh,
got implemented a long time ago because somebody hit Tom Brady in the knees and took him out for the season. And so they were like, "Hey, he's our star in the league. New rule, you can't do that."
so because it was Tom Brady.
Yes.
Got it.
And that's pretty much why it's the rule now. But
Okay.
yeah, he
I
kind
do
of
feel
got
like
hit
it
in his
was
lower he got hit in his lower extremity, but honestly, there was a much, much worse where some guy literally his helmet hit his knees and they didn't call it then. So I don't know if sometimes you'll see in the NFL the makeup call. When it
mm,
goes for your team, you're like, yes. When it's against your team, it's gonna piss you off.
yeah. Yeah, 'cause I was
Yeah,
like,
for
"Wait a
sure.
minute, that" I mean, of course, we don't well, we want the calls to be against them and not us, that's fine, except
Right.
I didn't understand that. I was like,
Yeah, like, isn't
"Aren't
that the
you
point?
supposed to take the guy with the ball down?" Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, so yeah, and then I think there was there was two roughing the passers. I think there was a late hit, or at least I think everybody wanted a late hit, but they didn't call it. So once the quarterback throws the ball,
Okay,
um, if you're more than 2 steps away from him and you hit him anyway, then they're gonna call a roughing the passer also.
okay,
So you
that
gotta
makes
be
sense.
yeah, be mindful of that because they're trying to. If the quarterback is not looking at you, he's obviously looking at where he's throwing the ball, so he has no way of protecting himself, bracing his fall, or anything like that. Another instance where they want to protect the players and keep them from having major injuries.
I mean, as a
All
mom,
right,
I don't disagree. Alright, I have one
all right,
more
so
question that maybe you can clear up before we get to your questions.
cool, go for it.
Okay, so the Rams had a great throw/catch, and
Hmm.
then the Texans defense had a holding penalty, so that was p like, they had a so we got a penalty against us, but they
Hmm.
had a good play, right?
Right.
But it pushed it back to where it began, I think? based on that penalty?
I'd have to go back and watch to see because here's what normally happens. If you have a good play and the defense, if you have a good offensive play and the defense does a penalty, depending on what type of penalty it is and how many penalty yards it is, the coach will have a choice to either accept the penalty or decline it. So
Okay.
do you know if the Rams accepted it or if they declined it?
That I don't know, just I remember thinking, "Wait a minute, so you get punished when you made a good play because the other team did something bad?"
Right, which
I'm like,
normally doesn't
"Ooh,
happen. Normally doesn't
okay,
happen.
okay,
Did you write down what quarter it was in?
no." I'll
Okay.
start thinking to do stuff like that. I was just
Yeah, yeah,
taking
yeah.
general
No
notes.
problem, no problem, and I'm gonna rewatch the game tomorrow for some of my other stuff too, so maybe I'll catch it and then, you
Yeah, it
know
was a pretty good
Well
it seemed like a pretty good throw. It
yeah, I
went pretty
mean,
far.
Matthew Stafford, I told you when in our first show, like,
Mhm.
he's pretty good, and he had a good game. I'm gonna compare him and Stroud. He was 21 for 29, that's extremely efficient. He threw for 245 yards, had 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. On the other hand, Stroud was 19 of 27, not as efficient, only had 188 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Mm.
So it wasn't a great game for him. That over under we talked about for Nick Chubb, he hit the over. So I told you guys I thought he would. He
Mhm.
ran for 60 yards. He had a decent game for a guy who has not really played for 2 years. Your guy Hutchison got himself a couple of catches. We were talking about the
Yeah.
underdogs.
Yeah, I saw him.
So honestly, there was people at the bar who thought, hey man, he needs to be playing more. Like whoever's catching the ball, put him in the game.
I mean, that
He
seems
also had a
legit.
yeah, yeah, he had a run play too where he got a first down. I think he gained like 5 yards on it. So the Texans did and this is what you're going to start to do as an analyst and as a fan. Every loss has some silver lining. And if you're an optimist, you're going to try to hang on to that silver lining and say, "Hey, next game they got to do better." Also when you win, a lot of coaches say we don't want to ignore in victory what we wouldn't ignore in defeat. So
Mm.
you find things that you could have done better in a win also. But what you're going to learn about me, I'm an extremely optimistic Texans fan. There were people in the chat today who were like, forget it, season's over, we suck.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, come on, man. It's the first game of the season. To be fair, you're missing some pretty important offensive players, and let's give Nick Caley a little bit of grace. This was his first game as a play caller. First, and you're on the road against the Rams, good team. I'm not gonna say the season's over. It was disappointing. I was hoping they'd play better. You were probably hoping they'd play better.
I
Um,
don't think it was that awful. I mean, as a whole.
yeah, for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, they had a chance to win the game, and that's all you can really ask
Mm.
in the NFL. You had a chance. Unfortunately, they didn't take advantage of it. And like I said, I cannot Adare Gumbawale made a really good play, and the Rams made a better play. I mean, when he punched the ball out of his hands, he was holding it with 2 hands like you're supposed to. The guy
Yep.
just made a really good play. So, tell me that your Texans are sorry. Tell me that your booty of the week belongs to a Texan. It's got to.
Oh, I only looked at the Texans' booties, so
Okay, cool.
we're safe there.
What are we going with? Is it a coach
But
or a
moving
player?
forward, all players are fair. I'm going with Anderson Jr.
Okay, Will Anderson Jr., who
Yeah.
got 2 sacks in this game, if I'm not
And
mistaken.
yeah, he was also my defense of the week
Good,
or of
yeah.
the game.
That was a highlight for sure. He
Mhm.
definitely got to the quarterback, and you and I, we talked about that in the first episode. I just wish, we didn't hear much from Danielle Hunter. Derek Stingley, to be honest with you, I told you he's one of the best corners in the league. Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams both had pretty good games, and a couple of times he was covering them. So, listen, it's first game of the season. We're not gonna hit the panic button.
Not yet.
There's fortunately 16 more of these things to go. So, and like I said, they just wanted to get that first disappointing loss out of the way. So
Right.
next week, Monday Night Football, that's going to be exciting. Prime time, national television. There was a lot of people in the chat today saying we don't deserve national television. Let's
Ouch.
slow down.
Wow.
Yeah. So here's a couple of storylines I'll want you to pay attention to, and then I'll be very curious to hear what your thoughts are. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers actually won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago with Tom Brady as their quarterback, and then they brought in Baker Mayfield, who used to play for Oklahoma in college, but he's actually a Texas boy, one of many high school Texas quarterbacks that ends up not going to a Texas school for college. Um, he is what you would call an underdog. I'm
Okay.
not telling you to like him, but he was actually drafted number 1 overall by the Cleveland Browns, which everybody thought they were crazy for doing it. And he's had himself a good redemption story. So, as much as I don't like whoever the Texans are playing, Baker Mayfield is kind of somebody people like to cheer for.
Okay.
Or, he's one of those love or hate people, right? Him, and they also have good receivers. Mike Evans is from Galveston, one of his receivers as well. So we're gonna have another good quarterback, good receivers versus our defense. And at the end of the day, the offense just has to play better, right? I don't care who you're playing. I know you said you didn't think they did that bad, and it could have been worse. They had a chance to win the game, but the defense is really what I feel kept them in this game. 9 points, scoring 9 points, it's not going to get it done. Not in this league. So
Yeah, but
hopefully,
see, I guess I
for it.
just we both predicted higher, way like at least double the points on for both sides, right?
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
wanted a more exciting game, so we both kept them from scoring much, and
Of course. That's like,
they had the momentum. They had the momentum at the beginning, and
yeah,
I could see and feel the shift. I don't know if it's the teacher in me,
of
it's
course.
like watching those kids on stage, and when they stop believing in themselves, I could see it in his face, and
100%.
it all just started going downhill
Did
for
you
the
write down
offense.
when that was? Because I'm curious if you think it's the same
No.
time that I think.
Well, since you're gonna rewatch it, I wanna know if you can figure out the moment or if you noticed the moment.
I think the moment was so the Rams score a late touchdown at the end of the first half, right? And the Texans come back, they take the lead 7-6. And then the Texans come back and they get that late field goal going into halftime with the lead. So I was like, okay, that's good. As bad as they've played all game, they have the lead at halftime. Now you go in the locker room, you talk to your coaches, you make some adjustments, and then let's go in the second half. And in the second half, the Rams come out and immediately score a touchdown. I think that was the shift in the game right there.
Not for me. The moment, on for Stroud, it was definitely in the first half. So
When he
look.
started getting frustrated.
Mhm, and
Yeah.
like, I just remember there being, the camera on his face for one
Mhm.
play, and then the next play, his face changed.
Yeah.
Like, the
That's
demeanor
gonna
of
be
his
something to
face.
keep an eye on because the quarterback is the leader of the team.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, there are some people, CJ Stroud has gotten a lot of praise for his leadership because he's a very well-spoken person. He's a positive person. He doesn't throw his teammates under the bus. But there's some times where he does not have a poker face. Like his you can see his
I never
frustration.
do, it's a problem.
Yeah, I know. I'm the same way. All the emotions on our sleeves, right?
Yep.
But
No, I show them.
there's been times that his teammates have gotten hurt and he's literally been crying on the field
Oh.
because I mean devastating injuries. When Tank Dell got hurt last season, he basically snapped his leg in half, and um, CJ Stroud was very emotional. He was crying on the field, and a lot of you know tough guys, macho guys, they gave him a lot of flack for that and said, "Oh, a real leader wouldn't show that type of emotion."
No,
I
that's
don't know if
BS.
that's
A
true.
real leader will show that he cares for his players and that they're just as important.
Amen,
And
sister.
that is a role model to me
Let's
for
give her a
young
round of
men.
applause for that take. Absolutely. No, you and I are on the same page there, but there are other people who have said that. So,
Mhm.
um, this is what we're gonna do. Our next episode will be about the next thing that you as a new Texans fan are gonna learn about is the bounce back after a loss. Can you bounce back after a loss? Here's the good news. It's in Houston. It's
Yeah.
Monday Night Football. All the old Texans are gonna be there. JJ Watt probably have Andre Johnson there. It's gonna be hype. Um, I would love to go to the tailgate. I'm off that day. Maybe we could go to the tailgate. That would be cool. Like do a show from the tailgate. I don't know.
I don't
But
know,
I'm
maybe someone
saying,
wants to get us some tickets.
hey, how about that? Anyone out there want to hook us up with some tickets? We will gladly accept that. No, it's gonna be I expect them to bounce back. The offense has to be better. Um, but the cool
Yeah.
thing about playing at home is the crowd's really loud when the team's on defense. Um, I'll tell you
I bet
this. Go for it.
I was gonna say, I just bet they can feel it on the field when they're getting hyped.
Oh, 100%. And I will say this though, historically, and let me knock on something now. I hate to be that guy, but historically, the Texans have not played well on national TV in prime time. Uh,
Mm,
they've laid some duds on national TV, and even when they were really good, they were I think 8-0, 9-0. Went on Monday Night Football to play the Patriots back in I think it was 2011, and they were feeling themselves. They made Texans Letterman jackets like they were varsity, you know. They showed up to New England. Oh man, they were feeling themselves and they got
ooh,
destroyed. So
ouch.
they did win last year. They had a Monday night opener last year too versus the Chicago Bears, and they won that game. So optimism is key.
And it's
I
on
will
home
always be
turf.
absolutely. So and starting out 1-1, the Texans have a tough schedule to begin the season. The Rams are a good team, so I'm gonna fall short of saying the season's over. But you know what, Scara, and talking to you in this conversation for your first game analyzing, I think you hit the money on some of these points, man. I'm really optimistic and looking forward to hearing your take on some of these other games. And I'm glad you picked the Texan for the bum of the week. Not the bum as in he sucked, but the booty of the week.
The booty of the week. We should
Yeah, we should clarify. Okay. Anything else that stuck out to you in this game? Let me ask you on a scale of 1 to 10, how big of a Houston Texans fan are you now?
What did I say last week? I think it was like 3, right? I was
I
pretty
don't think you gave me a number.
did
We
I?
established that I was going to ask you.
Okay.
I said 1 being meh and 10 being like you're going to sell one of your kids so you can get season tickets.
I mean, some days I'll sell one of my kids just because.
Right?
Uh, so, some days jail seems like a nice break. They feed
Right?
you, they house you.
For sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with a low number. I'm gonna say 3 because it's what came to my brain.
Okay.
And the reason I'm gonna go so low is because that gives me room to grow.
Yeah.
They didn't win, so I mean, you know.
Yeah.
And I was a little saddened by all the penalties and the like dirty play penalties. It's the grabbing of the helmet. Like that seems clearly you don't do that. So
Yeah. Blake Fisher, we're calling you out.
let's not do that.
He's not supposed to be playing anyway. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Mm.
He's not a starter. But no, 3 is good. And you know how I think you're hitting the nail right on the head. Because I think if you were higher than a 3, you'd be a little bit more mad about this loss. I think you're right there where you're
Like
supposed
I'm
to be.
frustrated about it.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah, yeah.
it's too
But
bad.
you're not gonna lose sleep tonight. You'll
No.
probably sleep
And I'm
fine
not
and
a Rams fan all of a sudden or anything like that. So,
right,
but
right, right.
I think we forgot my offense guy of
That's
the week.
right. I'm sorry. Go for it.
Okay, because I want to hear if I am on the money with this one too. But
Okay.
I thought Schultz 86 did good.
100%. He
Okay.
was pretty much the only bright spot on the offense. And here's the thing: he only had 3 catches for 28 yards. He had an 11-yard long. That I mean, let's see. Only Higgins and Hutchison had more yards than him. I was very Nico Collins. We didn't hear from him much, and he's
I
their best
wondered where he
receiver.
went.
Yeah, the Rams did a really good job keeping him out of the game, or did Nick Caley not do a good enough job getting him the
Mm,
ball? That's to be determined. But no, your eye was right on the money. I mean, he was one of the very lone bright spots. The 2 catches that Higgins got were very early in the game, and then we didn't hear from him very much at all. It wasn't a great offensive game. Obviously, they only scored 9 points, and I had guessed 22-17 because I thought 22 points. That's not burning a barn down, but that's reasonable to ask the Texans to score against a good defense and the Rams. The
mhm.
Rams defense did what I thought they would do. I just thought the Texans offense would be better. But no, that was very observant. Listen, man, I think you know ball. That's what I think.
I don't already?
You're getting there. I
Well,
mean,
do
everything you said.
you wanna hear the
Go
most
for it.
embarrassing thing?
Go for it.
Because I have no problem just giving all of my flaws out there. I didn't realize till today that it was an entire different group of men on the field for offense versus defense.
Okay.
I grew up playing soccer, and you have offense and defense, but they're
Of
on the field the
course.
whole time, they're just
Of
not in
course.
the thick of things, so,
Of course.
me
Okay.
it actually helped, right? You giving me homework and me, like, looking for specific
Yeah.
things and then me going, "Huh,
I
he's
take back
taking a
what I
break
said.
over there on his
Okay.
phone."
I take back what I said. No, I'm kidding. No, I mean, I thought all of your observations were right on the money, though. But yes, there are separate offensive and defensive players, and yeah, hopefully the offensive players will be better next week against the Bucks. Monday Night Football. So, guys, if you're watching this on Wheelhouse Media, we appreciate you guys so much. Uh, Scara, I know it's late. You got mom duty in the morning, but I appreciate you hanging out, and I think everything you said was right on the money. You're getting to the point where you know ball. I think you're
Okay,
gonna know
I'll
ball. I think you're gonna know ball sooner than everybody thinks, and I'm
okay,
excited about
I
that.
like that. I'll take it.
So yeah, for sure. Guys, don't forget to follow Scara. You can follow her at Scara K on Facebook or at Bad Teacher Tales on Instagram. And don't forget to check out her Bad Teacher Tales podcast. When are you starting new episodes?
As soon as I can get my editing put together. We've so,
Oh, it's your
yeah,
boy.
that's really all it that's fine because it is frustrating me because I've never done video with audio before.
Yeah,
Well, not in this capacity. I've done it for film, but not I don't know.
of course.
Things have changed.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Well, holla at your boy, man. I'll help you out.
Okay, okay.
I would love to get Bad Teacher Tales back on the internet, man, because it's a great podcast. Scara does a great job. So you guys go follow
Thank
her
you.
on her Instagram. You guys can find me at Houston Sports State of the Union podcast on YouTube, on X, on Facebook, on Instagram. I am at Pod Host Nick on TikTok. And this has been the second episode of Texan Bloodline.
Whoop,
My
whoop.
name's Nick Stevenson.
And I'm Scara.
And guys, you keep the Texans in your bloodline. We'll see you next week. Good night.